Have you ever been so tired, even though you barely did anything? Not because you worked all day, not because you ran for miles, but because your mind never stopped running. While everyone else was sleeping, your thoughts were holding another meeting. While others enjoyed the moment, you were preparing for problems that never happened. If that sounds familiar, this story isn't just entertainment. It might feel like someone has been secretly reading your thoughts. There was once a young man who believed that thinking more meant making fewer mistakes. Before speaking, he rehearsed every sentence in his head. Before making a decision, he imagined every possible outcome. Before trying something new, he convinced himself of every possible way it could fail. People admired him because he seemed careful, but inside, he wasn't careful. He was trapped. One afternoon, he stood outside a small shop, wanting to apply for a job. The application was simple. Walk in, ask for the manager, introduce yourself. It should have taken 2 minutes. Instead, he stood there for almost an hour. What if they laugh at me? What if I say the wrong thing? What if someone more qualified walks in? What if they reject me? By the time he gathered enough courage, the manager had already left. As he walked home, he whispered to himself, "I'll come back tomorrow." Tomorrow became next week. Next week became next month. The opportunity disappeared. And sadly, it wasn't the first one. Years passed. His friends started businesses. Some got married. Others traveled, learned new skills, and built meaningful lives. He stayed in the same place, not because he wasn't intelligent, not because he wasn't capable, but because every dream had to pass through the courtroom inside his mind. And in that courtroom, fear was always the judge. Every idea was declared guilty before it even had a chance. One rainy evening, while sitting alone on a bus, he noticed an elderly man smiling as he looked out the window. The old man looked peaceful. Curious, he asked, "How do you always seem so calm?" The old man smiled. "When I was young, I spent years worrying about tomorrow." He paused. "One day I realized something. My imagination had become better at creating disasters than reality ever was." The young man laughed softly. The old man continued, "Tell me, how many of the things you've worried about actually happened?" The question stayed silent between them. He searched his memory. Hundreds, maybe thousands, of sleepless nights, endless worries, imaginary conversations, fake arguments, disasters that existed only inside his head. Almost none of them had become real. Then the old man said something he would never forget. "Overthinking doesn't protect your future. It steals your present." That sentence changed everything. Not overnight. Real change rarely does. The next morning, he decided on one simple rule. Whenever his mind created 10 scary possibilities, he would take one small action before thinking about an 11th. His thoughts screamed, "What if you fail?" He applied anyway. "What if they reject you?" He introduced himself anyway. "What if people judge you?" He spoke anyway. Little by little, his confidence didn't come from positive thinking. It came from proof. Every action taught his brain something his thoughts never could. That life was far less frightening than his imagination. Months later, someone asked him, "What changed?" He smiled. I stopped waiting to feel certain. I started moving while I was uncertain. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding that fear no longer gets to make your decisions. Many people believe overthinking means they are being responsible, but often it is fear wearing the mask of wisdom. Your mind was created to solve problems, not to invent endless ones. The future will always contain uncertainty. No amount of worrying can remove it, but one small action can change it. So if you've been waiting for the perfect moment, this is your reminder. Don't let your imagination become a prison. Take one small step today. Your future isn't built by the thoughts you repeat. It's built by the actions you finally take. If this story spoke to your heart, remember this. Every great change begins with one decision. Subscribe for more stories that inspire stronger minds, greater courage, and a better life. And if someone you care about struggles with overthinking, share this story with them. It might be the message they needed today.